On December 6, 2025, the Sound Transit Link Lightrail through King County, Washington, finally opened its recently completed southernmost Federal Way stop. There was an event across each of the 3 southernmost stations to commemorate it, and here is the trio. 5 minutes from Federal Way Station to Star Lake Station. 12:09 to 12:13 from Star Lake to Kent Des Moines. 12:14 to 12:19 from Kent Des Moines to Angle Lake. Total travel time to what 8 years ago was the southernmost stop, 14 minutes. That's the last time I remember needing someone to drive up to the Angle Lake Station to give me a lift when the buses weren't running. Now I can just get off the train and walk home. As for fandom, free literature, and a trip to the comic book store that foresaw this, I ducked in and found another piece of free reading material. Not to mention a couple cosplayers. As for the foodies section, decorating cookies, hot apple cider, hot cocoa, free burgers, coupons, and so many food stands, trucks, plus free candy. Dick's Drive-In had free cheeseburgers I wasn't going to stand in line to receive. As I was going around getting footage at the Federal Way opening, they ran out. And though I was told that they'd have more after 12:30, I made noops. That list of short times? When I got as far as I meant to, I accidentally went back to the Lynnwood side. One unwanted trip to the SeaTac station later, I was standing by for the Federal Way line. For what felt like hours. Many moons ago, when I was initially seeing new stops assembled, I wondered if having so much more track for a given number of trains would extend the wait time. So while I was adding credibility to that concern, I was reflecting on the Hilton I had my first SAC at. It was 20 years ago this past Easter, my very first Securicon. I recall it being held at 3 hotels, but if that Hilton is actually 2 buildings, it may have been fewer. Makes me wonder what fan conventions are held there now. I'll be looking at those hotels I used to attend events at, wondering if they're hosting any 2026 cons. The event itself was at 3 train stops, Federal Way Transit Center, Star Lake Park and Ride, and the Kent Des Moines station. Not sure that I remember a lot of buses stopping there, but I do remember going to school at the college next to it. I admitted to some younger underclassmen that it had been 11 years since I graduated. Where all does the time go? It was on the way back south that I was stopping by the other participating stops. Kent Des Moines was the northernmost participant, taking place next to Highline College. Starting at this northernmost point, I didn't check out the old alma mater. I just walked the loop and picked up freebies, got my Dick's Drive-In promo pick, but no free burgers here. There was live Polynesian entertainment, however, and so many covered tables to interact with. Some with the college, some with candy. I picked up those free books at Star Lake, last before the final southern stop. So, technically the middle stop. I noted at the more northern stops the signs all said Lynnwood and Federal Way to convey north and south. Makes sense they'd change all the southbound signs all the way up to Lynnwood, but seeing the change made it feel all the more real to me. When I got back, Kingpin X was contributing a performance, but Dick's was out of free burgers again. I wasn't looking for cocoa, cider, or cookies anew. So I made Action City Comics my last stop. Back when the strip mall was still where the train station is now, Action City Comics was the one patron that moved across the street in advance. The owner knew the location wouldn't last, so moved nearby where there'd be easy access to customers from the opposite end of the county. But don't worry, you and Louis photography studio fans. They've still got a location in Seattle, and there's another photography studio or 2 in Federal Way. I swung by, got a leftover free comic book day issue. Said they were out of stock of gargoyles, but seems they'll have more when I get paid. Smiley face. Any gargoyles fans in the audience? Any comic fans in the audience? What's your favorite event at the Double Hilton or Red Line Marriott? What would you like to explore between Federal Way Station and Lynnwood? Looking forward to Pierce County locations next? Let us know in the comments. And how does a location like Federal Way have a big butt? Please don't forget to name whichever South King County or North Pierce County events you want me to cover. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. and a belated happy birthday in Angle Lake.